shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who is fearless. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause in a world of reckless automobiles. These are my motovlogs.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Your boy Chris is out on the Goldwing, out on my DCT Honda Goldwing, wrapping up a long ride that I had over the weekend. I actually had the opportunity to travel out to Texas along with Mr. Pat on our Honda Goldwings, and we actually just arrived back here in town, and I'm heading in from a long day's ride. Myself and Mr. Pat, we left out around 6:30 this morning, and we've been on the Goldwings all day. I've actually put in just over 1,300 miles over the weekend, testing out these Michelins to see how they will perform on a long distance trip. So we're going to talk about that here in this video. But I would like to thank all of the Caliente viewers that met up with me out there in the DFW, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. One, I would like to give a shout out to Mr. Tony. Mr. Tony actually lives out there in McKinney, Texas. He said that he watches my videos, and it would be an honor to meet up with me for the first time. I'd like to thank God that he allowed our paths to cross. I appreciate you there, Mr. Tony, for reaching out, leaving that voice message, and meeting up with you there in Texas. So shouts out to Mr. Tony. I also like to give a shout out to Brother Cowboy out there in Texas. Had a chance to meet up with him. Even though we didn't have an opportunity to hang out, we didn't have an opportunity to ride. Shouts out to Brother Cowboy. Also, like to give a shout out to Road Glide. So while I was there, had the opportunity to hang out with Road Glide. He invited us to his home. We had a good fellowship, just sitting down, enjoying the company. So shouts out to Road Glide and also to his beautiful wife, Debbie. Shouts out to Road Glide and Debbie out there in the Dallas area. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Rabbit. Give a shout out to Rabbit on this 2012 Honda Goldwing. Rabbit, man, you got a beautiful Goldwing. I got to give it to you, man. That Goldwing looks amazing. I think it has a 21-inch front wheel on there, and his 2012 looks amazing. A long-time viewer and follower of my channel. Real nice guy out there in the DFW area. So shout out to Rabbit. And also, I'd like to give a shout out to Magic. I'd like to give a shout out to Magic. And he got a nice boat out there in the DFW area, and he called it the retirement plan. So shouts out to Magic for, just bringing us upon your boat and just making us feel at home as you always do when we're out there in the DFW. So shouts out to Magic on this Honda Goldwing. And last but not least, I'd like to give a shout out to Long Haul. Shouts out to Long Haul. One thing I like about Long Haul, he knows how to get around that Dallas interstate without a GPS. Many times as I've been out to Dallas, I still haven't figured out the interstate. And of course, I've had people to try to explain it to me. We got 820, we got 30, and we got 20, and this street runs that way, and this runs that way. But man, when I get on those Dallas interstates, all I can think about is that somebody designed that interstate. They had to be inspired by a bowl of spaghetti. And after it was done, they poured it on a counter and said, this is the inspiration for our interstates. I mean, they got lanes on top of lanes on top of interstates on top of interstates. So if anybody out there, you live in the Dallas area and you know how to get around Dallas without a GPS, man, shouts out to you as well. But shouts out to Long Haul. Appreciate you coming up from Austin and hanging out with us. I don't think I left anyone out. Oh, shouts out to Turtle. Shouts out to Turtle out there in DFW. Caliente rider Turtle. So I don't think I left anybody out. If I did, charge it to my head, not to my heart. But I had a great time riding out with Mr. Pat. Mr. Pat accompanied me on his Honda Goldwing. He has the 2021 Honda Goldwing, and he was there every step of the way, man. And Mr. Pat can ride. So shouts out to Pat, and also shouts out to Taka. Shouts out to Taka. But I had a great ride. I just made it back here to the Memphis area. As a matter of fact, I'm on my way in. I put in over 1,300 miles on this weekend trip, riding on my Michelins. So one of the questions that I've been getting here over the past several weeks is, how do I like my Michelins? How do I like these Michelins? Well, first of all, let me say this. Let me give you guys an update on these tires. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I don't want to compare Michelins to a car tire. That's not what this video is about. If you guys are interested in my dark side videos, I'll leave a link about dark siding, but we're not going to compare a car tire to a Michelin. All right. So, as it relates to motorcycle tires, I think that the Michelin is the best tires that you can put on a Honda Goldwing. Of course, they got different brands of tires out there. I've tried the Bridgestones on my previous Honda Goldwing, G704, G709. I tried the Dunlop Elite 4s. They lasted a little bit longer than the Bridgestone. The rear tire was reinforced. It was a good tire, rode good just like the Bridgestones. But I think that the Michelins are a lot better. They handle really good. I've ridden them in wet conditions. They handle really well. One thing I did notice about the Michelins on this trip that I've taken, riding all day, whatever the ambient temperature was on the bike, the temperatures of the Michelins got about 40 degrees hotter on the rear tire. The front wheel was about a 10-degree difference than the ambient temperature. So if the ambient temperature was, let's say, 90 degrees outside, then expect the front tire to be around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. But they still perform well. So just to recap, on the temperatures, it was like 10 degrees higher than the ambient temperature on the front tire. And on the rear tire, it got about 40 degrees hotter than the ambient temperature. So I'm not sure if that's because the rear wheel sits between the exhaust pipes. I'm not sure if it's because the rear wheel is doing all of the work as far as pulling the bike, is pushing the bike, is doing all of the work. Now, is that a bad thing? I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. All I can tell you is that the Michelins handle really, really well on the front and on the rear. Now, that may be normal. Now, keep in mind, I am pulling a trailer with all of my luggage, with all of my belongings and things like that. The speeds, sometimes I got 80 miles an hour. I didn't have an issue. So overall, how did the Michelin tires handle on my trip? They actually handle really, really well. The only question that I have is how many miles will I be able to get out of these tires? As far as the performance, they handle flawlessly. How did it handle in the curves? It handled flawlessly. So we're not going to compare it to a car tire, but as it relates to just motorcycle tires, I think that Michelin's is the best tire that you can actually put on the Honda Goldwing, in my personal opinion. But the jury is still out on how many miles that these tires are going to last overall. So I'm just going to run these things throughout the remaining of the year and see how long they actually last. Maybe even into 2026. So stay tuned to my channel. I plan on putting up some videos of my ride going out there to Dallas and on my way back from Dallas, and some of my experience while I was out there in the DFW. So stay tuned to my channel for that. Shouts out to Ryder Casey. I actually met him on Highway 51. I stopped in to pick up a watermelon. The first lady was looking for a watermelon, and I just happened to see a stand on the side of the road, and I stopped in. I picked up a watermelon there and met Ryder Casey, and he just happened to watch my videos, and he came up and he was asking me about some recommendations for his 2012. He lost his key, so I referred him to the Honda dealerships. If any of my viewers out there, if you have the previous generation Honda Goldwing and you lost your key, drop in the comment section the best way that Ryder KC could replace his ignition key. He lost his ignition key to his 2012 Honda Goldwing trike. Also, I want to give a shout out to one of my viewers out there named Frank. Shouts out to Frank. Frank, he came up and introduced himself. He said he had a 1500 Goldwing and he recognized me on YouTube. So shouts out to Frank. I actually saw him out there in Boomland. Man, I tell you, you meet the nicest people on a Honda. So shouts out to Frank that I saw out there in Boomland just the other day. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to put it down in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button. If I left somebody out, charge it to my head, not to my heart. This is your boy Chris, out on the Goldwing. Out on the Goldwing, the most technologically advanced motorcycle in the world. And it performs flawlessly. And I will talk to you guys later. Deuces.